Hello, everyone. It's
Hello.
live. You know, I'm starting off right now. Hold on. Before I introduce everyone, I was on Treks, and Shashank on there said, "So Bruce, what's the name of your live show that you guys are doing over there?" I'm like, we don't have a name."
Yeah, Barry's asked me that too, and I'm like, the live show?
Yeah, we don't have a name. We
No,
don't
we
have a
don't.
name.
So
But
maybe
that's
that's a good assignment to give people in the chat. You know, we may or may not use it, but what should we call this show?
Oh, I have
Yes.
a name. I have a name.
Okay,
Ready?
Bruce, go.
The Ready Room live.
Oh no, Star Trek CBS will come after us.
Oh man.
Anyway, I'm Will Wheaton, and with me tonight. Oh wait, no, I'm Bruce Gibson. Let's go around. We're doing the Brady Bunch thing again.
Hey,
Hi down there.
hey,
Hi, Dan.
hey.
Hey.
Awesome.
Jackola's here. Dan Gunther's here. This is Dan Gunther's channel, so he gets to name the show.
Indeed. Well, the Unready Room from Lawrence Todd. I'm kind of liking that.
I do like that.
That might be a front runner.
Very good.
I actually am writing that down now. I love
Good
it.
job. Good job.
Awesome. I kind of love how we're all stuck in our own impossible boxes right now.
Yes.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Yes. How impossible that is. Jean Live Picard.
I like it. I like it.
I love a good pun.
Live
Yes.
card.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not going to name it Squidgy.
Kurtrat's Drakip playing into the whole Star Trek backwards.
Yeah.
Yes.
I kind of like that.
Yep. So everybody just kind of tilts their head and goes, huh.
What is
It's
that?
the Drakip. Yep. I like it.
Yeah. I can read backwards, so I got it immediately.
Mhm.
I'm weird.
Well, since you're backwards, let's move forwards.
Okay.
Good segue.
Yeah. Hey, I watched Star Trek. Okay. Star Trek Picard, episode 6, The Impossible Box. So I will ask Brandi, when did you watch it and how many times have you seen it?
I have only had time to see it twice. The first time I watched it was actually yesterday morning at about 5 a.m. because immediately when I got home, I had to do a podcast with another person. I'm sorry, I cheated on you guys. It wasn't a live show though.
Wait, what were you doing? What live show?
No, it wasn't a live show. It wasn't a live show. We were recording a podcast. It was for the Make It So podcast, which is on the We Made This network. And
I saw that other podcast lipstick on your collar. I wasn't gonna say anything.
No, I'm coming clean. I'm full disclosure.
I can smell it.
So, but because my co-host was actually he's one of the main hosts and I was guest host, because he's in the UK and he had the only time he had to do it was on the day of release. He stayed up late and we did it right after I got home from work. And then I watched it again with Dave after that when I was having dinner because I was very hungry by that point. So, yeah.
Nice.
Nice. Dan.
Yeah, I saw it twice as well. I love, that's just the true sign of a true Trekkie, right? Oh, I've only seen it twice. It came out yesterday. I've only seen it twice. Oh, I'm a failure. But yeah, no, I've seen it twice. Watched it twice yesterday. I really like this episode, by the way. I'm just going to lay those cards out on the table right here. Yeah, I'm really digging where this is going. So I'm eager to talk about it.
Yes. So I've seen it 3 times. That's starting to become my usual thing. And so I usually watch it as soon as it comes out that morning. And then at some point before we do the show, either the day before or the day of, I watch it with the closed captioning. And so I'm just kind of making some notes and I'm pausing it and stuff. So it doesn't really feel like a full watch, because sometimes I'll even skip ahead a little because I'm more like focusing on what I want to write down. And then my wife hasn't seen it. So then I usually try to encourage her to watch it before we do the live show as my second time of actually just sitting back and watching it. So it's like 2 times just sitting back watching, another time just making notes. So
nice. Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah, lately I've been just watching it myself kind of when I get a chance, and then with my fiance afterwards because, she wants to see it and I can't wait. And, Star Trek's playing in my house. I'm not going to not watch it. So.
Right. Well, I had this problem where sometimes I forget about it. Like I remember the night before, like, ooh, tomorrow morning, I'm going to watch it before I go. I'm all excited. And then some mornings I wake up and my mind is so geared like, okay, I've got to get ready for work, or like things distract me in the house. The family's getting ready to head out to school or work or whatever. And there's all these things going on. And then all of a sudden later, I find myself going, oh my gosh, I forgot. I got to watch. Oh, but I'm running. Okay. I'm just going to go in late, So that's what happened yesterday. I was going in the office. I don't always go in the office, but I was going in the office and I was like, oh, well, and I took like the quickest shower and got dressed as quick as I could. Cause I watched Picard first. And I thought I'd rather be late getting ready instead of, anyway, that's how that'll happen.
Wow.
But it was great.
I don't know how you could forget that Picard's on. I
know.
I can't even get in that headspace.
I get distracted because it's not like, when I get up in the mornings, I'm thinking, what do I got to do today? I got to get da. And then, but I do watch it. It eventually hits me and I freak out and I get mad at myself. I do. I'm like, what? How did I forget? What is wrong with me? It doesn't always happen. It's happened like half the time now. But then after I watched it and then I threw them clothes and everything, I got in my car and was listening to the soundtrack going into the office. So that was nice.
That's cool.
So I walked in Picard fresh.
You had that lovely vineyard scent about you.
Yes, and you're right, David. I do have issues, but they're good issues. Good.
The best kind of issues to have.
The best issues. So this episode starts off with the dream sequence, and that was a teaser that we saw on the official Ready Room on CBS All Access. And so we got to see that as the very first opening to this episode. And so thoughts about that scene.
It reminded me a lot of bad dreams that I've had. So I have extremely vivid and disturbing dreams on
about
a nightly
Soji?
basis. About anything. I mean, anything. And often they seem kind of normal when they start and turn into something really horrifying at some point. So I was just like, ooh, Dutch angle, this is going to be good. Let's buckle in. So yeah, it was very good at creating an atmosphere with almost no dialogue and very little else but just reactions and sounds. And where did they find that child that looks so much like Isa Briones?
Yeah.
Where did they find her? Because she was perfect.
Yeah, definitely. And this sounds really crazy coming off of 2 episodes directed by Jonathan Frakes, but this to me felt like the best directed episode so far. There were so many times, and I mean part of that maybe some of the brilliance of the other directed episodes is I wasn't noticing the direction, but this time like I'm noticing the directorial choices that are just really working. So that dream sequence plus the later dream sequence when we delve into it, and then also Picard's first visit to the Borg cube. The direction of all of those just had this horror vibe to it that was so well done and just immediately just got my hackles up and put me right on the edge of my seat. And it was so good. Like, yeah, I guess, people might say the directing isn't good when you're noticing the direction, but for me, like all of the choices that I noticed were just perfect. Like the second time I watched it, I was really making note of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this episode too. And this whole dream sequence, we know right away it's more than likely a dream, and that is supposed to be Soji when she's walking down the hallway. And we know it can't be really Soji because she was never a child. She's an android. She doesn't, she was never a child. She's only a few years old and she's always looked the way she's looked. So, and then going into that lab or whatever and seeing the back of her dad, of Bruce Maddox, I kept thinking, like, if when we ever get to see him, will he look like he did in The Measure of a Man, or will he have the beard and everything?
This was only like 3 years ago, y'all. Of course, he's not.
But it's a dream. She could have seen pictures of her father when he was younger.
That's quite probable.
So, but anyway, yeah, that was cool. Why do I have written here outsiders?
Andrew Reynolds, by the way, just as an aside, points out that the director was Maya Vervilo, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but she also directs episode 8 coming up as well. And I think she directed 1 or 2 of the short Treks episodes. She's not directed any of the full length episodes up till this one, I don't think, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, she might have directed Runaway. I'm not 100% on that. I don't have it in front of me, but just incredible direction in this episode for sure. So credit where credit's due.
Yes. Come on, Dan, do your research.
Gosh, Dan.
All right, give me a second.
Oh, no, look, we've guilted him into it. No, I will say this. This was the first one that made me super emotional. And that made that, well, it triggered certain experiences for me because of the depictions of, both Soji and Picard being triggered and having trauma, and it brought back some things for me too. So there were some moments where I'm just like, oh, my heart is twisting in my chest.
Yeah, usually when we talk to you, we usually reveal something that you have cried at. And sometimes if you don't say that, we ask, but we didn't. I realized we didn't ask that last week. So I'm assuming there were no tears in last week's episode, but
nope,
there were in this one. Okay.
There were, I mean, I felt emotion, but it wasn't like making me cry. And, I cry really easily, but sometimes I connect more deeply with other things than the things that maybe everyone else connects with and cries over. I don't know. It was just, I guess, I don't know. It was just, this episode was beautifully hard for me. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
I'm going to put out a guess there that it was Picard's trauma and him facing what he went through as Locutus. And the other emotional thing for me was the reclaimed Borg, and in particular, the one where he looks in the mirror and sees that got to me. This was Picard's revelation that they're victims, that got to me big time.
And Hugh just hugging Picard.
Oh,
that
just, so interestingly about that, and now we're jumping all over the episode, but
no, I know what you're going to say.
That was apparently not scripted, that hug between Hugh and Picard. And it was while they were filming the screen, Patrick said we should have some sort of greeting of some kind. And Jonathan Del Arco basically said, how would you feel if I hugged you? Because he was kind of thinking, if I recall correctly, about if he hadn't seen his father for 17 years or something like that.
I think his father passed away.
Okay.
And so, yeah, if he had the chance to see him again after the 17 years since his passing, that's the way I took it. I would have to reread that. But just.
Where did you hear about that, Dan? About
that was Jonathan Del Arco's Twitter, and I've actually followed him on Twitter for years, long before we knew he was coming back as Hugh, because he's an incredibly thoughtful and amazing person, and just a really cool person to follow on Twitter. Look him up if you don't follow him. He's a great follow for sure. Another quick aside: Andrew Reynolds did the research, same research that I just did as well. Maya Vervilo also directed Perpetual Infinity in season 2 of Discovery, and Runaway was the short trek that she directed as well. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We appreciate you doing our research for us while we're live.
That's right. That's why we do live, so people can do research for us.
Outsourcing, it's great.
Yep. It's fantastic.
So then Soji is in bed there with Narek after she wakes up from her dream, and he pulls the covers over them. It was such a sweet little romantic moment, you know. But I love how she asked what his true name is.
Mhm.
But
That was interesting.
they never reveal they have different names for outsiders than they do internally with other Romulans. So I thought that was cool. I don't think we've known that before about Romulans, have we?
I don't think so,
Don't think
but
so.
I feel like somebody has saw the movie Cats recently, and it's like, oh, so they have a name for what other people call them. They have the name that humans give them, and then they have the name that they give themselves. So,
I just think it's funny that that movie Cats that you can't stand seems to come up in every episode of the
well, it's
show.
because I know the poems.
Oh,
That's what the freaking musical's based on.
Another small aside, apparently, and I was trying to remember this from when I read the novels, in the Rihansu novels, that idea is explored too, where Romulans have a true name that they don't reveal to outsiders.
Yes. Okay. So I was wondering about that. I thought maybe, but I wasn't sure. And I didn't have a chance to look that up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody mentioned that on Twitter or something. And it kind of, I was like, oh, I think I kind of remember that, but it's been a while since I read those novels. So
yeah, same here. Yeah.
So
if only there were a podcast that would cover novels.
I know.
Yeah.
Gosh.
They could call it Literary Treks.
There you go.
And then CBS would do a live show called Literary Treks on the CBS All Access. There'd be two of them.
I brought a drink this time.
What you drinking, Brandi?
I am drinking my favorite pop beverage, Diet Cherry Vanilla Dr. Pepper.
Oh, yay.
I love it.
Yeah,
you would think it's just get Diet Cherry Dr. Pepper. No, the vanilla. The vanilla adds that special something.
No, I'm with you. I like this.
I do see a few of our regulars have joined us. So we have Aaron Harvey in the comments and Chris Littlefields in the comments. So awesome. Good to see you guys.
Yes.
Did I mention I did get a chance to watch The Ready Room this time before we started taping? I watched The Ready Room today.
I didn't.
Yay! I did.
I didn't get a chance to. And okay, I know, bad Trekkie right here. I was like, I watched Picard this episode for the third time with my wife, just like an hour before we were going live. And I said, well, I'm going to start heading down. I've got an hour. And I was like, oh, but I haven't watched The Ready Room. And I'm like, okay, honestly, I was like, but I have one chapter left in the Picard novel, and I wanted to finish that first.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
So I held off on The Ready Room, the official show on CBS All Access.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So yeah, where are we next in the episode?
They're in bed and he's trying to get her out.
Yes. And he goes to leave.
And
he's kind of freaking out a little, you know, because she's calling him out on the name thing, and the dream thing is freaking him out, and he's heading out, and she's like, Eric. And he's like, that's not my name.
I did kind of love that. Can I say, like, the stuff between Narek and Soji in this episode, and this sounds bad. I don't want to say that it was, you know, it wasn't that great up till now. This episode was the first episode that I really cared about what was going on between those two. Like, it was masterfully done. Like how he's giving her just a little bit, and, you know, to elicit a response, and he's just really playing this angle, and it's good. Like the way he manipulates her and the way she responds, it all felt very real, which up till now their interactions haven't really, to me, felt that real. So it's too bad the setup for all of this wasn't stronger, but I think their interactions in this episode, it just works really, really well.
I have a theory, of course, because, well, actually, I think it's pretty obvious by the end of the episode, and we're not going to talk about that now. But I basically pegged from the beginning that he was actually falling for her, whether he wanted to or not. And so,
oh yeah, for sure.
So for me, it was a buildup of that. And at this point, he's just like, screw it. I can't help myself. But he's still doing what he thinks he has to do.
And you could really feel in this episode that this is now where we're getting to this part of their relationship where it's coming to an end, where everything's going to break. Like he's going to get the information he needs from her. he feels like he's so close, and all of a sudden the rhythm is just like going faster and faster. He's revealing even more to her. He's like exposing that he knows things about her, and she's questioning like, how do you know I talk to my mother every night? He's like, I hear things. And then he's like, hey, you talk to her an average of 70 seconds.
No, exactly
70 seconds every time. And it's like, she's like, how do you know these things? And you know, he's trying to he's making her question him now, you know. And it's like he's getting to a point where it's like, you know, I'm tired of hiding things. I'm going straight in, I'm grabbing at the throat, and I'm going to get the information I need now. You know, we're there. The dream thing set him off. That's when he was like, this is the clue. Now I'm ready to go in for it.
And of course, the other thing is his sister's breathing down his neck, threatening to
literally
employ her means.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
It's not, to me, it's not weird. She is extremely manipulative, and I still believe that she has abused him, and probably still tries to abuse him, but now he is strong enough to defend himself. But yeah, that's an abusive relationship. It just is.
Yeah. Can I also say this is the first time I totally got brother and sister from them when he comes in the room and he's like, hey, that's mine. Give it back. You'll break it. I'm like, yeah, there we go.
And she's like, oh, your toy? He goes, it's a tool.
Yeah.
And it's a metaphor for Soji, if you didn't get it. And then at the end of the scene, they outright say it, just in case you didn't get it.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, they were giving us other little bits of that before, because in her quarters, where next to the easel that has paintings on it, there's a table with, you know, painting things, but there's also one of those little wooden posable mannequins. So, yeah. So that was also, they were hinting at it. So that it was the case of 3. You've got this one, you've got that one, and then you've got the one from her dream. So 3 references.
I bet you have one of those little mannequins, don't you, Brandi?
Not a wooden one.
Oh, okay.
I do have one. I do. Mine's plastic.
Okay.
And it's much smaller. But I was going to say something. Oh, gosh darn it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It was. I'm sure it's going to come back to me. I remember. Okay.
Good.
So here's an interesting thought that popped into my head while I was watching Picard for the second time yesterday. No, for the first time, actually. Why do the Zhat Vash / Tal Shiar think that there is a nest of androids? Where is the evidence? Has there ever been any others mentioned from Bruce Maddox or anyone connected that have been more than Daj and Soji?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Or are they just going off of an age-old prophecy, and they have been fed so much propaganda that they are absolutely of the belief that there's like a whole army of them on this home planet? Because I'm just like, why do they keep saying finding the nest?
Well, wait a second.
Nest?
So Bruce Maddox was he was working on Earth on synths, but didn't he go somewhere else?
He did. And then that lab was
completely destroyed. And it turns out that was like 14
destroyed.
years ago, too.
Yeah. That lab was completely destroyed.
But now, could they think that's the nest?
I don't know. What I think is that they don't actually know what they're going to find. They've just been told what they're going to find for so long that they believe it as fact.
Yeah. Or if maybe, like, you know, even if there isn't an army of androids, the technology to be able to create them might be there or something like that. They're hoping to end. Yeah, I don't know.
I suppose. But in any case, I just feel like they're really just taking a lot of this on faith, because there's really no evidence that there is more. So that just occurred to me. I'm like, why do they keep saying find the nest and all this stuff? There's never been any indication that there's more than Daj and Soji.
And hopefully that will be explained and be revealed later, because remember, it was maybe 2-3 episodes ago when we first saw Soji fall asleep talking to her mom, and we were all kind of like, well, that was kind of weird that she fell asleep, you know. And now it's
I just figured it was AI triggered. So,
but now it's like now we know the real story behind that, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. But yeah, that's just a thought that occurred to me, and I thought, I wonder if anyone else has had that thought.
No,
Yeah.
I know the nest for Big Bird was like behind the doors there next to the building on Sesame Street.
And it was a big nest because
It was a big nest.
big bird.
The Romulans wanted to know where that was.
Yeah, well, it's on Sesame Street, but I am not going to tell them how to get to Sesame Street.
Can you tell me how to get?
Yeah.
Do you ever notice that song never does tell you how to get to Sesame Street? That's what a ripoff.
No, I have yet to find it.
Well, that's because it's being sung by the person who wants to know. It's not being sung by the person who's already there or can tell them how to get there. It's a little child saying, "Hey, help me out, yo."
And they just continue to ignore them. Oh. But I'm enjoying in the comments everybody pointing out how many androids we've seen in TOS. Like there are a lot of androids out there. Really.
Yes.
Well, even Discovery, the short treks.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think they were indistinguishable from humans, though.
Exactly. That's the big difference.
Yeah.
That's the big difference right there.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's always been androids, but not like a Data.
Right.
You know, that keeps coming up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah. Okay, so sorry for that tangent. Okay, no, I'm not sorry. I'm never sorry for tangents.
I don't want you to be
Tangents
sorry about that.
provoke discussions. So
Automated Joy says that they propose the series' Spock's butt is Rios's abs.
Wow.
I didn't hear that.
That's good. I was going there. I was going to ask Brandi what she thought of that.
I was just, when the scene first started, and I was like, "Oh, shirtless Rios." Okay. I'm ready.
See, my reaction was different. I thought this series has a lot of bare feet. I've noticed like Daj and Soji in every episode are in their bare feet at some point, and now we see Rios in his bare feet. I've never seen so much bare feet in a Star Trek series before.
And now we know Santiago Cabrera is really good at football.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was pretty cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
So
good with something
and
else.
He highly recommends sleeping with the captain of something. So
Yeah.
Okay,
fine. Let's just go there.
Okay,
Right.
so remember a couple episodes ago, I said I felt there was something between these two.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't. I mean, for my part, of course, I'm just like, ew, no, not her.
I know.
It was, but honestly, what are his prospects? Unless he's bisexual, really, she's it. She's it. She's the only one. So it makes sense in that regard. But that once I got past that aspect of it, I've seen a lot of people kind of flying off the handle about that. And I just thought,
really?
What did I see that you didn't, or didn't see that you did? Because everybody's like, oh, he took advantage of her. Oh, the hell he did. He did
I
not.
thought she was more of the aggressor. She's the one who came in to kiss.
And here's the thing.
Definitely, yeah.
This is what I firmly believe. She thought she was distracting him along with herself. I think that he's onto her. I think he knows that there is something more going on. And I think that he has thought this for a while. And I think he is suspicious of how Maddox died and her story about it. That's what I think. Whether
That's
I'm
cool.
right,
I didn't.
Another thing.
I didn't go there.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't get that impression myself.
Just the way he looks at her.
Yeah, I don't think there's
studying her.
That could be, yeah. Because he does a lot of looking, but doesn't feel as much like, hey, look at you. You know, like he's studying her. Yes. I can see some of that. Yeah. And
that's
you know,
Mm-hmm.
let's put a pin in that, because if that comes up in an episode, we can go take it off the board and go, Brandi called it. Brandi called it. The other thing I thought of, and this is really ridiculous, but I don't mind embarrassing myself with ridiculous, stupid things. But the fact that that she's attracted to him, I was like, well, he kind of has that Bruce Maddox look. The salt and pepper beard and hair. I'm like,
Oh,
is
no.
that her type?
Yeah, but he also does not have massive bags under his eyes.
Not yet, but he'll grow into them.
But well, I think honestly, I think he's one of these people that is extremely observant, and yet nobody really realizes how observant he is. So I think he's just been quietly observing everybody this whole time. And he actually is a very sensitive person because how he treats Raffi and even how he treats Agnes, like she's like, oh, I have a superpower. I can tell I'm making mistakes while I'm making them. And so, and then he backs off. He's not aggressive. And he's like, tell me what you're feeling.
Yeah, he's very sensitive, very caring.
And after the first kiss, where she basically just attacks him, and he was fine with that, he actually says to her, what does he say? Oh my gosh, I hate when my brain does this.
He says, "Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?" Okay.
No, he says, I'm here to listen if you want to tell me something.
Yes, and that's what triggered her. Yeah.
So again, building up my suspicion that he's suspicious.
Interesting. See, I didn't get that, but I definitely think that whole situation felt very real to me. Like Girardi is spiraling. Like she's having a crisis that obviously she can't talk to anybody about, and she's making big mistakes, I think, and
huge.
Not dealing with what she needs to deal with, that psychiatric emergency that the EMH popped up about. Yes. And this felt real. Like I've had friends, I've been in situations where this, emotional energy has to go somewhere, and you take actions that afterwards you kind of step outside yourself and go like, what was I thinking,
You're like, oh, I have had friends. No, Dan, you've been doing this. I
said, and I've been in situations. Absolutely.
So okay.
I've talked people through this. Absolutely.
Well, Brandi, I'm going to say that I'm now really buying into what you're talking about here, because
I'm selling it.
You are, because
I'm not convinced.
Everything he's saying, he's starting off by saying, you were really close to Bruce Maddox, weren't you? It's like I feel like he's like questioning things and just letting her reveal herself to him by allowing her get close to him, allowing her to lead that, her to move forward with it.
He's manipulating her, and she doesn't.
It's like, I'm going to let you lead this dance, but I'm going to kind of, just kind of give you little hints and clues to kind of allow you to take me in and pull me into this. And I'm predicting now, based on what you're saying, that at some point he's going to reveal to her that he knows what she did, because the EMH had told him prior to the moment we just saw in this episode. We just didn't see that. We're going to find out later that he had that conversation with the EMH, and that's what clued him in to start doing this. Because he's doing what Narek has been doing with Soji.
Yeah, but it's a lot less vindictive.
Oh, it's less, but we got to find out the truth by going in the bed. It seems like that's the theme of these situations.
Everybody has their ways of avoidance. Picard isolated himself. Raffi uses drugs and alcohol, and Rios and Agnes are using sex. So, everybody has that thing that they go to for avoidance and distraction.
And then Elnor's like, what about me?
I know.
Did forget about me?
I would never forget about you, little Elnor. You are just a cute little button.
Oh, did I in-butt again?
So adorable. This time, yes. Yeah, so that's the thing. You can't push her, and he's not pushing her.
Right.
Very smart.
Well, because if he did, she might get a little suspicious. Like, why is he? Yeah.
He's doing
Dan knows, because he's been there and he's had friends too.
I will I will say that the theory sounds very plausible, but just to be contrary, I'm going to say no.
Okay. Well,
But
I'm
darn
fine
it,
being
it
wrong.
does sound very plausible. Like,
yeah,
you've made a
I'm fine
great
with being wrong.
case.
So
Yeah, she may be wrong, but I'm really going to be looking for that now. I'm kind of expecting it. Yeah. What else is happening?
I'm just reading some of the
Yeah,
of the
what are they saying?
R-rated comments that I'm not going to repeat, but
There's
check out the
R-rated
comments.
Really? Well, I got to watch this. You guys do the show. Let me read.
Anyway, so yeah, they now know that they have to head to the artifact, the Borg cube, which of course is bringing up a lot of issues for Picard.
Yes, which I like. It's the formal neutral zone. I love that coming up. That things have fallen apart within the Romulan Empire, which of course we know.
And it's funny because I'm kind of flashing back to All Good Things, right? When when Picard wants to go to the Devron system in the neutral zone, and Geordi's like, "There is no neutral zone, remember?"
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it's kind of cool because the Romulans aren't in the best shape right now, and the Klingons are allowing medical ships in. So it kind of, fits together kind of nicely. You could kind of squint and make that alternate Q future kind of work too.
And I have to ask you, Dan, when you see this stuff or read stuff like in the new book and the Countdown comics, are there things that you see like that and you think, oh, well, the novels didn't go there? Like, do you ever compare those two? Like I do occasionally. Yeah,
for sure. There's definitely some things like that.
Which, by the way, Brandi's going to be on the Literary Treks in like about a month. Just saying that.
That's exciting. I actually, and as someone who yesterday finished The Last Best Hope by Una McCormick, everyone read that book. I can't stress that enough. It's so good. And it's not a happy book. Let me just put it that way, but it's very good.
You haven't read it, have you, Brandi?
I have not. I've bought it. It's ready to go. But this has been a week of not a lot of free time for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, we record with Una McCormick tomorrow for Literary Trek, so looking forward to that.
Tell her I said hi. No, I'm kidding. She doesn't know who I am.
She will now.
I just really respect her. I really like her writing.
Really great. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's for tomorrow's podcast. So Picard, I'm liking his like Google image search, and
yes,
you can source all of those pictures from various episodes and stuff. I was like, oh, that's the Deep Space Nine Inter Arma Einem Sealant Legis picture. That's from this, that's from that.
Right.
But then, of course, he gets to the picture. Well, before he gets to the picture of Locutus, though, he sees a picture of Hugh, as we remember him from TNG, and then realizes that Hugh is the executive director of the Borg Reclamation Project on the Cube. I thought that was kind of cool. But then, of course, the Locutus image that, we get the camera looking through, and he reaches up. And actually, there's a line in the Una McCormick novel at one point where Picard says that he reaches up and touches his deepest scar. And that's exactly what he did in this episode. And I'm like, I bet you that was right from the script. I bet you that's exactly how they put it.
Yeah, that was great. But I like that. I thought it was cool. But at the same time, it's like, well, if he's going through these pictures, why is that one reversed? There's
a little bit of a cheat because we see it from the front when he's looking through it, and it is reversed.
Yeah, I like it
from the backside. It's correct, but
I have my head canon on that. But I want to hear what Brandi's going to say first.
I'm just going to say I've seen a lot of screenshots from a lot of things.
I know.
And they get reversed a lot.
I know, but that drives me crazy. Seriously.
I know it drives you crazy. I think they do it just to drive the fans crazy. I think that's what they do.
Yes. So. Yeah. In my head canon, I'm just assuming the computer knew that was his image, the person, Picard's using this, and it just reversed it just so he could look at a mirror image of himself.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I don't know.
Well, it could have been somebody uploaded the image wrong, so you don't know.
I know. Yes.
That worked. I'm just gonna go with somebody uploaded the image wrong and nobody bothered to correct it because who's the only one who's going to notice? Picard. And
or
the fans.
or it was cache. It was in his cache. He's already looked at that image before, and he's the one reversed it before, and it's now showing up again.
Interesting thought.
Something like that, maybe.
Very interesting.
So it's not just on Google; it's pulling from his own stuff plus others. Do we think they have Google at this point?
I'm sure that they have. I'm sure they have something that's much better and has zero pop-up ads and advertising in your searches.
Yeah, no, I was being facetious, but it's obvious he's doing a keyword search through.
Yeah.
No, he is. Yeah.
Publicly accessible. So
I think it would have been funny if a Google logo came up.
I would have been really annoyed if that had happened. I'm going to be honest. I'd be like, oh.
The Picard reverse image, and he's doing this, and on the bottom of the screen it says Google Images.
Oh, yeah, but see, that's the thing, though. They would never just do it out of the kindness of their hearts. They're capitalists, and therefore there would be no more Google.
That's why it's the FNN network that's covering stuff and not CBS in the future, right?
Yeah, that's actually pretty true.
Okay, what else has been happening? So we talked about. Well, let's talk about PTSD too.
Oh, this is hard for me. It was hard for me watching him go through that. It was so hard, and those jump cuts were done so well and were so terrifying. I mean, they were terrifying for me, and it didn't happen to me. So it was just the sounds and the images is just messed me up something fierce.
I thought it was interesting that all of the flashes, like most, if not all of them, were directly from Star Trek First Contact, which I thought was really cool. So I'm like, the behind the scenes person in me is going like, well, before CBS and Viacom merged, would that have been okay? Because Paramount had the movies and CBS had the TV shows. Is that the first evidence like on screen of the merger, or I don't know. I
don't know.
Interesting. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah.
I hadn't thought of that either. I mean, even if they didn't merge, I mean, they may have been able to get, permission.
They probably would have been able to get permission easily enough too, but I was just like, interesting, because
that's a good catch.
Split. Yeah.
Before we even really get into it, was anybody else worried about how Hugh was going to receive Picard? Because I was. Because
no, I wasn't.
Hugh and Picard did not have like a super friendly relationship. So
not at first, but the last time they saw each other, they did more.
Yeah, but I just
Picard
was not
encouraging him to become the leader, and they're like, I think they have a strong leader in you, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, but he was still very angry at that time.
That's
so
true
I just
too,
I was just not sure, and I'm just like, please let this go well. Please let this go well. I really need this to go well.
Yeah,
and then it didn't. I'm just like, yeah.
I wasn't even thinking that far ahead. It didn't even occur to me to think of that how the meetup would work out. So, but that's interesting. Yeah, that would have been an interesting thing if they had to get over that, rift. But
yeah,
time. We gotta move on with the story, I guess.
Yeah, but all of the PTSD for Picard, it just broke my heart so much.
Yeah, especially when he got on the Borg cube, and he's just and when the Borg grabbed him, and he was like, "They're trying to keep you from falling. It's okay,"
Yeah, and again, nodding towards the director here. I saw somebody else mention this, and I did kind of look it up to see. They were saying that the blocking of that scene with the two Borg flanking him was almost identical to the way the scene was blocked in The Best of Both Worlds, when the two Borg have him and bring him before the collective. And I would rather die. Death is irrelevant. You will be, all that, like that scene. It mirrored that almost perfectly. It was so good. Yeah.
Dang. Now he mentioned before that though that he's only been on a Borg cube once before. Is that what he said?
Yeah, which I was like, I had to think about it, and I was like, oh, that's exactly right. That's true.
Is that true?
Yeah, the only time, well, technically what he says was the last time I was on a Borg cube was not willingly or something like that.
Not voluntarily.
Not voluntarily, yeah. And the last time, and in canon, the only time he's been on a Borg cube was when they assimilated him as Locutus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to remember if he'd been on the Borg cube in First Contact.
Nope.
He hadn't.
No,
because they
blew
made the Enterprise. Yeah, they blew up the Borg cube. The little sphere ejected and went down to Earth, and then the Borg systematically started taking over the Enterprise and turning it into a Borg cube.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow, I hadn't thought about that. In the novels, though, it's different.
Second pause as well, because I was like, oh yeah.
And I immediately made that connection. I'm like, yeah, because he was only on that one when he was assimilated, and the other time that he was dealing with the Borg directly was when he was on the Enterprise, and they were trying to take it over. I talked to myself like that. I'll actually sit and posit it all out loud.
We were while you were doing that, we were captivated. We were listening.
You were not.
Yes, we were.
This is why we like the headcanon podcast idea so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of rambling on that. That's what it is me rambling. It's fun.
Awesome.
Because I have a captive audience.
So what else? XBs or former Borg. We've heard that before.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that taking on a new name is the first step towards forging a new identity or something like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Great
and
line.
I think that there were some people that thought that the Romulans were calling them XBs, but no, they took that name themselves. And there's power in taking your own name. Yeah. So well done. Well played. And this is something I thought of when I was watching the episode, was that it actually had a correlation for me in real life, because the Borg are the most hated people in the galaxy, and the way that people treat them with disdain and, say horrible things to them. Some people may even spit on them. It depends on where they are, whatever. And I just thought that that's very much like the homeless problem we have in this country and others. They are unseen, and when they are seen, they are reviled, and everybody basically blames them for being what they are. And that's the same with the XBs. And it's just, that made me hurt even more. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Good call. Yeah.
There's so many things that this series as a whole is doing as far as parallels to what's going on in the real world.
That's not Star Trek.
So yeah, people who are saying that this series doesn't do the social issues like Star Trek did, I'm just I don't know what you're watching, because they're talking about refugees, they're talking about the homeless, like you say. If you read the novel, and I'm going to go back to this again, The Last Best Hope, they're doing Brexit, they're doing climate change. There's so much being talked about in this whole what's going on in this era. It's incredible to me that anyone could not see that. I don't know. That's
and I keep thinking things like, the US's response to Puerto Rico, and
absolutely.
There's so much there's so many things.
Yeah.
Okay. So Soji, I like the whole thing where after she wakes up from talking to her mom, she's going through all her stuff, her pictures.
Oh, that's a great scene.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great scene. Love it.
What's 37 months? Probable age 37 months. Probable age 37 months. She's scanning everything. She's getting more frustrated and then the necklace, same thing. I kind of wonder if she was going to use it on herself. I don't know if it would work on a person.
Probably not.
I was wondering that a little bit. But it would be interesting if they went there and she was just like, okay, well, this thing, she'd probably be like, oh, okay, this thing's broken then.
I did wonder that too. If she was thinking, well, maybe this is broken. Maybe we need to get another one. Maybe it's just not working right. Because if I had a device that kept saying 37 months for everything, I'd be like, okay, either that's true or this thing's messed up. I need to find another one just to make sure. And if the second one says 37 months, then I know it's not a problem with the device.
Yeah, but she was already dealing with the cognitive dissonance, and this was kind of like the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
That she just
She was supporting what she was already believing. Yeah.
Yeah. She couldn't explain this. She couldn't resolve. And all of these other things put together, she didn't need to go get another device because she just knew that this was true.
Definitely. Yeah. And I loved that there was no variation. Like I kept thinking during that scene, like, oh, maybe one will be 38 months, baby. But no, it's just like all on this like one day, this entire fiction was manufactured out of a replicator or something. Like it's just like, oh, what a nail in the coffin of her sanity almost at that point.
Oh, and you see her starting to decline. And that's again where these jump cuts really portray this breakdown so well and make her, as she gets more and more manic when she's scanning each of these different things. And I mean, to the point where she grabs the picture frame and she just breaks it open. I'm like, child, you could have opened that from the back.
I know. I thought the same thing. Like, calm down. It just takes you a second to open it from the back and pull the picture out.
She was beyond that at that point. She needed to just know. And so she went the hard way, which to her was the easier way at that point. Or maybe she just wanted to break something. I don't know, but it was just it was another example of her growing anxiety and fear over what was happening to her.
Yeah, I want to call it Automated Joy says about Raffi's call to the Admiral. I accidentally skipped that part in here.
Oh yeah. We need to talk about that.
So,
I'm so sorry I was right about Raffi Black's backsliding.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed.
Honestly, though, again, she's practicing avoidance. What else is she going to do? And I feel sympathetic towards her. I also feel like, oh, come on, you're stronger than that. But she has to believe that. No one else can tell her that enough.
And now that you're talking about it, I'm a little disappointed in Picard. Because he's just there. He just a little disappointment. Rios is the one who's really stepping up and trying to help.
Well, Picard is so lost in his own issues that he is not fit to help anybody else with their own. And that's not a position that we're used to seeing him in. But it is very real. It is very real. Everybody has times in their lives where they cannot be the giver, where they need to get something for themselves. So I totally understand it. It doesn't really make me disappointed in him. It just makes him real. It just makes him human and not this unattainable godlike figure.
Yeah. I
relatable. That's the word I was looking for. Relatable.
It's a good word. I did a video earlier today that was just kind of my initial reactions about the episode, and this scene was one of my favorite scenes in the episode, not because I was happy about what was happening, but it was just so well done with Raffi talking to this captain and just slowly pushing it a little further until she's got this captain with her arm twisted behind her back, basically saying like, well, we're going to get shot out of the sky if you don't do this. And like the scene itself, when she's manipulating things, like it's amusing and then it becomes heartbreaking. And it's at the moment right where Lawrence Todd mentions this when she says, don't ever call me again.
Yeah.
And you see what this has cost Raffi and the emotional toll and the physical toll and all of that. And then, Picard's actions, he claps and, you know, he's thankful but
great job, Raffi, but
way to destroy your friendship. Good.
Right.
Good for you.
It's a little disappointing, but at the same time, I don't see it. This might earn me some, hate, but I don't see this as out of character for Picard.
Oh no, it absolutely isn't.
It really
is not
isn't.
Out of character. No.
Like even when he was a captain, if there had been some questionable behavior or something by a crew member, he probably would have sent them off the bridge, and then Deanna Troi would toddle after them and help sort them out. Picard didn't do that. He wasn't that kind of a person.
Yeah.
And now that he's not in Starfleet, we see him less as a military person, but he still has that distance.
Yep.
And he doesn't, and like you said, he's got his single-minded mission. That's what he's focused on. He probably regrets what he feels he had to do in that situation, which was use the resources he has to achieve his goal. And that's why he and Raffi didn't talk for 14 years. They're not necessarily good for each other.
No. And, you know, again, it's all about avoidance. He didn't want to face that what he did also affected other people besides just the Romulans.
Mm-hmm.
And he was already carrying that heavy burden of not being able to rescue the Romulans, and he just didn't have room for anything else.
Yeah. And I honestly feel like his applause was trying to give her something.
Oh, he absolutely
in that moment.
Did not feel like that to her.
No, it didn't feel like it to her. And it didn't come across like that to anyone else in the room. But I think Picard was thinking like, giving her something for this. And that's all he knew to do at that moment. And it was awkward as hell. But
yeah, it really was. And I feel like maybe you could have just quietly gone over to her and put a hand on her shoulder and said, thank you.
Right.
That may have been better received. So I'm loving the screenshots tonight and the gifts.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt bad for Raffi too, because the friendship that she has where her friend's like, don't call me again. It's like I could just see in Raffi's face, like, yet another relationship that's gone and messed up. I've got nothing, Well,
to be fair, she has probably ruined those other relationships on her own, but this time she did it for the benefit of someone else. This didn't benefit her in any way, shape, or form. And so it hit her harder that she was losing this friend and it wasn't even going to gain her anything. And I'm not saying that she was thinking about what she was going to gain. I'm just saying that she wasn't doing it for her. She was doing it for Picard, and now she's lost this friend, and he doesn't really have any conception of the depth of that. And instead he just applauds.
Do you think, because we really haven't seen scenes between these two in the last couple of episodes, like really any close scenes of them talking to each other outside of just the mission,
Yeah, well, that's because she's unavailable.
Right. So I guess my point is, are we getting to a point that this relationship is going to come to blows in a future episode, that she's going to just kind of go off on them?
Something is going to happen. This tension is building and it will find a release, and they're going to have it out one way or another, I believe. I don't know exactly how that's going to come to pass or what form it's going to take, but there's going to be a reckoning of some kind.
At which point I think the relationship will be salvaged by that point. Like, I think
I agree.
Because in the last episode, we did get that really great scene between them where she says it was almost like old times, wasn't it? And they had that kind of, and I was like, oh, they were starting there. And then the thing with the sun happened, and then this. So yeah, it's not, she's not in a good place for sure.
Yeah, and the thing is only she can get herself out of it. So this is one of those things where she has to want help, and right now she doesn't. She will come to that place where she wants help, but until you yourself want that help, you are not going to let anyone help you. I have been there, not with drugs and alcohol.
Well, no.
But I have been in that situation, and it wasn't until I finally said, no, I need help, that things started to change.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like I'm sure there are lots of things that would help her through an addiction or something like that, but you put it perfectly. You have to want that help. Like, just because a technology or a medication or something exists to help people through this, they have to want that help. And she's not in that place yet, for sure.
I know this isn't going to happen, but I we are going to see Deanna Troi coming up on the next episode or two, and it would be kind of appropriate for Picard to say, I really need your help. You've got to come back with me. I need a counselor.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that everybody, well, not everybody, but many people have this preconceived notion that asking for help makes you weak or makes you appear weak. No. Recognizing that you can't do something by yourself and asking for help is one of the strongest things you could possibly do. So don't let anyone ever make you feel like that's weakness, because it is not.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the list of social issues from before, drug abuse, addiction, like the show, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So great.
That's not Star Trek. I do like the scenes with Rios.
All the scenes with Rios are always good. There isn't a bad scene with Rios in it.
But that's true. Yeah, he's really becoming my favorite. But with Raffi, him taking her, into her bedroom, putting her to bed, taking the bottle away from her. At one point, I was a little worried. Oh gosh, please don't tell me he's two-timing. He's gonna start getting with her.
Oh no!
Thank goodness that didn't happen.
They don't have that kind of relationship.
No, but and that's the point. It's that relationship that I like, that they have been friends for so long and they've been supporting one another. And it wouldn't surprise me if there may have been a time where she was doing this exact same thing with him, putting him down, taking the bottle away, go to sleep. They're there for each other because they're in the same place. She's the one who's having more issues now than he is, but there could have been a time where it was the other way around.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like they're both in a place of self-hatred. So,
right.
And they are there for different reasons, but they're both in a place of self-hatred, because I've heard a lot of people say, oh, he's made those holograms look like him because he's narcissistic or he's full of himself. No, no, it's because he hates
Very
himself
much the opposite.
and he's punishing himself. That is why he did that.
For sure. So just as a little aside, Becky 2010able says, miss the holograms though.
Totally.
Which reminds me of something. Like, we got a bunch of preview pictures for the episode, and one of them was of Raffi talking to another hologram with a little like stocking cap on his head. And I'm like, wait, that wasn't in the episode. So there's a deleted scene out there, and we could have had another hologram, I think.
Oh man.
Is it a deleted scene or something coming later, you think?
No, it was a preview for this episode, and this episode is over. So, yeah, I remember that picture.
Interesting. Well, when the Blu-rays come out, I'm sure they'll include it in the special features.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And I've killed the conversation. Just
No, I was
died.
just thinking about it. Like, that's interesting.
I'm looking for the
time
picture
was
now.
Yeah, I figured that
local time was 8:03. Pronounced dead on the scene.
I don't remember that from the
killed
preview.
it again at 8:03.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Oh, you have it? Can you share it with us?
Yes, I think.
Oh, I want to see if we can do this. Dan's going to share his screen. Oh, yeah, it's working. Do I need to add it? Boom.
So, yeah, we got this.
Oh.
And it's for the Impossible Box, so.
Wow.
I feel like that's maybe just Rios.
Maybe, but he never showed up with the hat on, so.
Well, maybe that was what he was wearing before he started playing soccer. I mean, football. I don't know. Can't see his pants. Can't say. But it just looks like Rios to me.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, but I mean, the other holograms do differ in appearance, whether it's the hair or what have you, the way they stand, etc. So, but that just seemed like good old Captain Rios.
Emergency stocking hat hologram. I like that. Oh, automated
emergency wardrobe.
Toque. Thank you.
There you go. It's the emergency wardrobe.
Toque. I wanted to say toque, but I didn't want to scare away all the non-Canadians. So thank you.
I love the word toque. It's the best.
I'm out of here. Now that toque has come up, I'm done.
Oh, let me see you the 12 Beers of Christmas from the Great White North album.
Nice. Yeah.
By Bob and Doug McKenzie. One of my favorite comedy albums ever.
Yes.
And a beer in a tree. Oh man. So yeah, let's talk about, I guess, the ultimate betrayal of Soji by Narek in the Romulan meditation room there.
It's the Zalmok.
Zalmok, thank you for remembering that. That's our
I didn't remember it.
You outsourced your memory as
I think
you've done
it's
for
just
thousands of
Jalmok.
years.
Jalmok.
Yeah, because it has the ZH.
Yeah.
And we all know that that's J sound.
Jalmok.
Because
Yeah.
it's Jadvash.
I wasn't even going to try to pronounce
Jaban
what his real name
Jadvash
is, by the way.
Jalmok Emporium.
It sounded like a warped form of Ryan to me. So his name isn't
Haran.
Karen, it's Ryan? What?
It's like Harayan.
Yeah.
Hyan or something. Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna call him Ryan from now on.
Jalmok. I like that whole meditation scene. That was
Yes.
well.
That was really done well. And again, we're diving into that dream. We get the horror elements, and then the fritzing and the jumping around as well was really effective for like making me a little freaked out watching that scene. It was really well done. And then of course the blurred face. And
That's so wrong.
Yeah.
I loved it. So
Yes.
wrong. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And then of course the final shot of the wooden Soji on the workbench.
Yeah, and you know what made that? You know what that made me think of? It made me think of Pinocchio, which made me think of Encounter at Farpoint when Data referred to being Riker called him Pinocchio. I don't know if that was intentional or anything, but that's where my mind went.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean,
yeah.
Ryan even says to her, "You're not real. You never were."
That that was great because I love it when she's now in the moment in the dream and he's like, okay, what do you see? What's there? Okay, and she says, I see myself in peace. It's me. I'm in pieces. He's like, okay, now look up. What do you see? She's like, 2 red moons, dark as blood, lightning, and bam, he's like, I'm done. You know, and then it's like you could tell he has feelings for her, but he's also like, okay, this is it. Goodbye. You were never real. But it's tearing him apart in some ways, but at the same time, it's like I have to move on. I've got what I need. We're done. It's like I'm breaking up with you, you know.
Well, the thing is,
I'm going to kill you.
He had no choice,
right?
He had zero choice,
and his sister's listening too.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why he knew he had no choice. He did the only thing that he could do, and he didn't want to do it. I think it was very obvious in Harry Treadaway's acting that he did not want to do this, that it was breaking him, but he couldn't not do it because you don't want to face the wrath of Narissa and the Tal Shiar / Jatvash. So it was in that regard self-preservation.
Can I give a little shout out to the Romulan guard outside the door? Who at first was like, she's not allowed in here.
No round ears.
No round ears in there. Round ears don't belong in there. And he says, well, sub-commander bars don't belong on an idiot, but or whatever he says. I was like, that was pretty good. And then at the end, just like she's pounding, freaking out, and he's like, Narek?
I know, he's like, hey, dude, she's like breaking the floor in there.
Yeah.
So
I kind of love that guy. Like just the boots on the ground Romulan soldier who's like, hey, I don't know just whatever, man.
Yeah. And then he goes to open the door and Narek's like, no, don't, the radiation. And again, it's like,
the whole compartment.
Not the whole compartment.
He's dead already. Sorry. This also so close to, I mean, it's just been the 5-year mark of Leonard passing away too.
Yeah.
So that actually kind of hit me a little bit.
In honor of.
Oh, you both are.
I've got.
Oh, nice.
Well, yeah, but
it's still Spock.
I only got that, so you know.
Well, hey, at least we're all representing.
And I also have that.
Oh,
nice.
Wow. The USS Kelvin. No, the
Franklin.
I was like, wait, that wasn't the one.
I was like, wait, what? Kelvin? Why?
No, I know. I would like a Kelvin shirt though. But yeah, and okay, so what you guys are just saying now, I'm trying to picture Soji with her hand on the glass, and then Narek they do.
Nah, she was busier. She was busy escaping. So, but yeah, he was traumatized. Like he was almost hyperventilating while he's out in the hall, waiting for her to die. And was anyone surprised that the box had, lethal radiation in it?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
anytime a Romulan takes a box into a room and then leaves it.
Yeah.
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 I was thinking it would be like maybe a bomb of some kind or something. So it was something a little slower acting than
Yeah.
at least. So, but
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm just like, why didn't you just? There's so many other ways you could have made sure the deed was done instead of just. But maybe that was why. Maybe deep down he did that because he knew that she would activate and she would find a way to escape. Oh,
That could
or
be.
maybe not.
maybe.
Because his back is towards the room, and maybe he's just like, okay, maybe he is thinking like, I hope she figures something out. Yeah. Well, even if he's not expecting that, there might be a part of him that is like, I'm killing her, but then again, I hope maybe she finds a way out of it somehow.
Mhm.
I
And then
don't
it's
know.
not on him.
It's not
It's
on
not
him.
on him.
I tried. I did it. She, who would know she would have crashed through the floor and run into Jean-Luc Picard down there with Hugh. What are the chances?
Well, they were on their way to get her.
Mhm,
When she
yeah.
was out of the room, she became visible again.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so, and Picard's like, take me to her right now. So they were booking it to her location.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is funny because we don't see Narek again. I just realized that. Like, we don't see him like trying to find her and trying to find them.
No, he's walking briskly away from the room and making an announcement that, there's this something loose.
Attention. Pick up on aisle 8.
Yeah. Clean up on aisle 10, lots of radiation, and watch out for the synth.
Yeah. Kurt North in the comments asks, a wooden floor, really? I think that was just like an overlay over the deck.
Yeah, it was an overlay.
Because
she
she smashes
back
through the
metal.
she smashes through the wood, and then you hear like metal rending, like she's
Yeah,
pulling.
she's peeling it back. She's literally peeling it back. So
Yeah.
hi, Kurt. I did that podcast last night with Kurt. Hi.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it's out today. That's how fast he is.
Wow.
It's unreal.
Well, then
In a good way.
And Andrew Reynolds says, remember in what was it, the first episode, they mentioned that synths could, quote, tear through titanium. So maybe Narek did have an idea.
Could be.
Interesting.
I'm just saying it's
Brandy's got all these great ideas.
Yeah.
Not always. I have some really dumb ones.
Look, I was trying to give you credit. Come on.
No, I appreciate it.
Let
I'm just saying, like anyone else, I have some good ideas and I have some freaking weird ones. So
You have more good ideas than freaking weird bad ideas, and I'm the opposite. So it's a good
no, I
balance.
don't think that's true, sweetie.
Well, because my ideas are usually stupid and I know they are. I just say them because I think they're funny and no one laughs.
Oh,
Oh,
now I'm sad.
one little thing I wanted to mention. As they're running to find Soji, the one XB who says,
Locutus?
Yes.
He
Picard's like,
runs by,
"What?
Picard's like,
Don't have time.
And that reminds me earlier when he comes on the ship and he passes a former Borg, he puts his head down, like,
Mhm.
doesn't want to be recognized. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that when he goes, the cutest. What if I was like, cutest? Hey, it's me, Frank. Remember that time when oh my God, that was years ago.
Remember that time when I held you in place while the Borg Collective told you that you were going to be assimilated?
That was me.
That was awesome,
4
right?
of 7. 4 of 7. No, that was 3 of 7. I'm 4 of 7.
Hey, have you heard from 7 of 9? I haven't seen her in years. Wow. Yeah. So what else? So they're running. Oh, they run to the Queen cell, which I thought was pretty cool. That was hidden. So the Romulans, nobody knows about that except for Hugh. He was the only one who knew that was there. And they both said they've never been in a Queen cell, but yet they
just both have a memory.
They have the knowledge.
They have that
It's
knowledge.
just there.
Well, that's because of hive mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. That's us, right? Hive mind, the 3 of us.
That's a scary thought, but yeah.
No, it's okay. Honestly, if we really were all linked, you guys would just go insane at my brain. You would just not want to be in here. I'm telling you.
We would be in your head canon.
Yeah, it doesn't shut off ever. This brain is going a million miles a second, every second of every day. It will not shut up. Please, somebody make it shut up.
Make it.
Oh man,
Give me an hour's peace.
I'm just laughing at Automated Joy's comment. Phil comments. I want to watch Groundhog Day again.
That's the best. That's the best. So,
Right.
yeah. So, yeah, spatial transjector.
The trajector, yeah. Deep cut Voyager reference, season one, prime
season
factors.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Yeah, I wonder. This joke's been made a million times on the internet already, but I bet the Sicarians found the Borg not at all pleasurable.
Or maybe the Borg found things more pleasurable after assimilating them.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
At least that one cube sure did. It's like, where are all the drones? I don't know. They just wandered off and they're all, oh, wow, look at that. Okay. So they picked out some things from the Sicarians. Yeah.
There's probably more than just a love of pecan pie.
Oh, boy. Sorry.
If you don't get that, watch the Voyager season 1 episode, Prime Factors. That's where all of that's from.
Yep.
Which is really cool. And the Flotter reference. I don't know if you mentioned that.
It looked like a lunchbox, didn't it? It looked like a lunchbox to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so totally. Like we would have now. Like I think I had a Ghostbusters lunchbox when I was a kid.
You
don't like that, yeah.
I'm surprised. My favorite food reference in Voyager is still corn in the cab. Corn in the cab.
Oh man.
Corn in the cab. That's from the first episode, people, if you don't know. See, bad ideas coming from me, whatever. Hey, here
No, I'm just flashing back to watching that first episode that first episode of Voyager and going, what am I watching during that scene?
Yep. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, they go to I can't say it. It sounds like Nepenthe. It sounds like the Klingon planet. The
Rurapente. Yeah.
Rurapente, also, depending on who's pronouncing it.
Yeah.
You hear it both ways in the film.
Nepenthe is also the name of the next episode too. So.
Oh, is it? I didn't even look at that.
Yeah.
So where is that? Where are they? Why are they going there? Anybody have any ideas? Anyone?
I'm pretty sure that's where Riker and Troy are.
That's what I'm thinking.
That was my guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but why are they living there?
I guess
I'm sure we'll find out in the next episode.
We've never heard of that place.
Oh, wow. So there are countless worlds in the Federation that we've never heard of.
I like Dave saying it's called Rural Plenty.
That's my husband, ladies and gentlemen.
Nepenthe.
He makes me laugh daily. I love you, baby.
Nepenthe.
Yes.
Yeah, and then back on the ship, they're like, "Okay, we need to get out of here. We have to rendezvous with them on Repente." Wait, where's the kid?
Nepenthe.
Oh no!
Everyone saw that coming, right? There was no way he was going to stay on the ship.
Yeah. When we have Picard saying, "No matter what, don't leave the ship," and he's like,
"Yeah."
He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." He's just gonna stay. Sure.
Part of me kind of like, I mean, obviously, I would have thought that anyway, but the other part of me is like, I saw preview images of Elnor on the Borg cube with Picard, so I'm like, oh darn it! But I would have thought so anyway, for sure.
Yeah. And I do love when Picard chastises him and says, "I told you to stay on the ship." Yeah, I didn't listen.
And Picard just says, "Thank you.
Thank you.
Like, that was great." You know. No. And so the thing that surprised me was him staying behind on the Borg cube, though, while Picard and Soji went through the trajector. I wasn't expecting that. I think that was an interesting choice. And I've got to assume they're going to meet up again before the next 4 episodes are out, because Elnor's awesome. I want him and Picard together more.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So much more.
Yeah.
I just want to watch Elnor following Picard around for the rest of his days.
When this episode ended, my wife's like, oh, they've left Elnor behind. Will we see him again? And I was like, yeah, how is he going to get back? But for all we know, we haven't seen the ship leave.
No, and we see, and I have watched the preview trailer for next week's episode. So yeah, my prediction is that the ship, they're going to rescue him before they warp away to Nepenthe or whatever. So
Yeah.
Well, they're going to have to get out of the tractor beam before they do any of that.
Mhm.
This is what I called the Empire Strikes Back of the Star Trek Picard series. The group is now broken up, and they have to find their way back together, and they will.
Or it's the Canto Bite of The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Everybody I've talked to lately says they can't stand the casino planet on The Last Jedi. I just had to throw it in there.
It doesn't bother me.
I was really surprised when they froze Rios in carbonite, but hopefully they'll get that all figured out by next episode.
And the cigar sticking out of it, that kind of break off.
That's how the Mandalorians transport their people. They make trouble. You just freeze them in carbonite. It's much easier.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, Boba Fett tried first. Now everybody has to, do the same thing because Boba Fett's the coolest. When really he's kind of crap, you guys. I mean, is Boba Fett really that good?
I've
seen better Mandalorian.
Another topic for another show. Come on Star Wars Report and talk about that one with us.
Zamboni Josiah, regarding your comment about The Last Jedi, I agree completely. It's maybe not my favorite, but I really, really like it.
I like The Last Jedi. I love it a lot.
Too. I'm an unapologetic lover of that film.
I am too.
Nice.
What was I going to say? I don't know. Hey, I think we covered it all, haven't we?
I love that we get the blackout at the end and we just have Elnor's line, please, my friends, choose to live.
Yes.
So on brand.
Yeah.
So on brand. That is exactly what Elnor would say.
I'm worried for Hugh now,
Yeah.
I am too. Like, I don't want them to be bringing back all these old characters just to kill them off.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
maybe I gotta think they don't
escape.
I hope so. We see that he's, and again, apologies anybody who doesn't want anything from the trailers or anything like that. I kind of caught heck for mentioning some stuff in a trailer in a recent video. So plug your ears for the next few seconds. We see in the preview trailer for next week that he was being threatened with a knife to his throat by Narissa. That's her name, right? And so I'm a little worried for him.
I am worried for him as well, but I think he's going to come through this.
Mm-hmm. And I think so too.
I think Elnor is not going to leave him behind. This guy helped Picard, and therefore he is, under Elnor's protection as well. That's probably the way he's going to think of it. So that's my thing. That's my thing. That's my theory. Having trouble with words now. Holy.
When Hugh showed up, my wife was like, wait, he died last episode. How can he be alive? And I was like, what? And I said, oh, that was Ichab. And it made me wonder. And she goes, oh, yeah, that's right. And I thought, we're so deep.
Do all Borgs look alike to you? Wow.
No, but it made me wonder more like, less obsessed fans like we are, more casual, might have been confused by that too. I wondered,
There's a pretty big age difference there. So
you can't really tell much on that table when he's getting his eye pulled out.
He also has like this nose ridge thingy, and I mean he visually looks very different from you, in my opinion. So
yeah, Becky 2010able, I agree. If Hugh's killed, we riot. He's in the same category as Laris and Jabon for me. Don't touch him.
I just know what happens to Hugh in the literary.
Oh yeah. We
actually covered that not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say what it is. No spoilers here. So,
but it's the novel Greater Than the Sum by Christopher L. Bennett, if you're wondering.
Yes, and it does involve Borg because he is one. Uh,
I was just waiting so that I could take a drink, but you didn't say.
what? No, we covered on literary treks. Yeah.
Thank you. I was getting some cotton mouth there.
Sorry, I meant to say literary treks earlier.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
There we go. Dan, what are you drinking? It looks like you went through the McDonald's drive-thru or something.
Yeah. Hashtag not a sponsor.
It is.
Yes. Fantastic.
Wayne Fraser says, sorry I'm late. Can we start again, please?
Yeah, we
So at
can.
the start of the episode, no, I'm just kidding.
We can, because as soon as we end it, you can rewatch it. So.
Yeah, that's true. You're covered.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything we haven't talked about? I think we got through this one pretty good.
Yeah.
So Becky 20 table, just to answer your question, if the novels are an alternate timeline, I don't know. We'll find out. They're working. They have a plan. We'll see.
They're like the Cylons, and they have a plan.
Yep.
Anybody want to sing us out?
No.
Show tune.
There's
Actually, we only have to mention a musical of a particular
no.
name.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. No, we won't. We won't.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting something over there, Bruce. I know you.
I'm just sitting here. I'm thinking about Rios and his shirt off. That's all.
The one time I do spontaneously break into song, and Brandi, I am going to mention the musical we talked about. I am so sorry. Every once in a while on a Thursday, I'll break out into One Day More at the end of the day, but that's it.
I did not live until today. How can I live when we are parted? Tomorrow you'll be worlds away. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. I'm sorry.
It's so
I'll do
good.
the whole song. I
It's
will do
fine.
all of the parts of the whole song.
I'm going to give you the whole stage. I'll back out.
It was just, where did Bruce go?
I don't know.
Oh my word. We've lost Bruce. Everyone, we have lost Bruce. We have lost Bruce.
I was going to let you sing.
Awesome. Well, I think on that note, we should probably wrap this up.
Yes. Let's wrap it up. Put it in a box.
An impossible box.
An impossible box. Yes. Wrap it under the impossible box with some radiation.
What you give them all the pucks. Spread around your poison until they end up in a box.
Wow. Keep going.
I was that old lady whore. I was that old lady whore in Les Miserables, as well as like 15 other characters. So.
Oh, awesome. Well, when you're not singing Les Mis, where can we find you?
Okay, I had to write this down because, it's gotten to be a very long list right now. So, but do go over and listen to the latest episode of the Make It So podcast, Make It So, a Star Trek podcast, which is over on the We Made This network. And you can listen to me and Kurt North discuss this episode in its entirety and have some interesting insights. Things that he hadn't thought about, things that I hadn't thought about. So it was a really good time. It was our first time ever speaking to each other, except in messages, and we got on very well. So go have a listen to that. It's episode 12. And you can find me on the Edge main show, which should have an episode dropping any time now, maybe someday. So go listen to that. And then when Discovery comes back, there'll be Live from the Edge. And we're not going to go over when that will be because we don't know when that will be. And you can also find me on the Dark Corner podcast with my husband, Dave. And you can also find me doing my own podcast, Headcanon. You can find both of those at darkcornerpodcast.com. They have different feeds, so it's not like you have to listen to both of them. You can just listen to one or the other.
But you probably should listen to both of them.
Just for continuity reasons, you should just listen to both. And also you can find me on Twitter at Brandywine12, and that's probably the shortest time I've ever done that. So yay!
Wow.
Nice.
So Bruce, when you're not busy goading me into singing, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm on my own, tweeting my thoughts. My handle starts with this little A thing and says Admiral_X. That's Admiral with an _X. And you can find me on the Star Wars Report. We're covering Han, Leia, and Chewie. And you can find me on Literary Treks, where you take a drink when I say the name of the show. Yeah. And then what else are I doing? We have a new podcast called Positively Trek. We've recorded 3 episodes, but they have not been released. You must wait and wait because it's coming soon, and we'll let you know here on the show. And that's all, folks. And Dan,
Yes, sir.
when you're not listening to me sing,
No comment.
where
Was
can
that
people find?
Sorry.
Wow.
Where
You're
can
so enjoyable.
people find Dan Gunther?
Well, I am not going to sing to the joy of all the people out there. You can find me on this channel where I do videos about Star Trek. If you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, doing videos mostly about Star Trek Picard right now, but hopefully other stuff soon as well. You can find me, as Bruce said, on Literary Treks, talking about books and comics, and on my website, treklit.com, where I review Star Trek novels, both old and new, on Twitter at Kurtrats, and on facebook.com/Kurtrats Productions, and all kinds of other places. Anywhere people are talking about Star Trek, I'll be doing stuff there as well. Yeah,
I only have one thing more to say.
by all
Do
means.
you hear the people sing, lost in the valley of the night? It is the music of a people who are climbing to the light. For the wretched of the earth, there is a flame that never dies. Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. They will live again in freedom in the garden of the Lord. They will walk behind the plowshare. They will put away the sword. The chain will be broken and all men will have their reward. Will you join in our crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me? Somewhere beyond the barricade, is there a world you long to see? Do you hear the people sing? Say, do you hear the distant drums? It is the future that they bring when tomorrow comes. Okay, I kind of foundered in the middle there.
Yay!
I had to do the whole thing.
Love it.
Yeah, we gave you full screen on that one.
That was
That's
amazing.
the closing version. That's not the barricade version. That's the closing version. Actually, technically, that's the cafe version because they don't really sing that at the barricade. They sing that to get people riled up to get to the barricade. Then at the end, it's all the dead people. We've all died in the fight. And now we're just ghosts singing because now Valjean has joined us and is a ghost. And we are welcoming him into God's grace.
I apologize for laughing. I just saw Wayne Fraser comment, do Freebird.
I don't know Freebird.
That was great.
We can't top that. And we got to end it right there. That was perfect.
That was beautiful.
You got to come up with a song for next week now.
Okay. Something will trigger something in my brain.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Well, everybody, we'll see you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Kurtrax channel on YouTube.
For Nepenthe.
That, yes. Bye.
Have a good night.